Welcome back to Same Right Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. So in this class, you'll be learning how to make this beautiful cape on a corset. Okay, so this beautiful cape on a corset, I'll be sharing with you the tips and tricks to making it sit on your shoulder accurately, as you can see right here on the dress form. So what we have on the thumbnail, that is actually what we are trying to make. But if you look at that dress, you can see one part of the cape is falling off. So here on the dress form, you can see it's sitting right on the shoulder. So in this class, you'll be learning how to make your cape in a fast and easiest method. And it sits right here on the shoulder. So I'll be showing you how it sits. I'm turning my dress form, as you can see. So this is what the back of this cape looks like as I turn it. So that is how it's going to sit at the back of your dress as well. Okay, so I have my zipper at the center right here, but I just stitched this in a hurry. So if you are making this, that means you are going to align it, very close to the zipper point, or you can even sew it inside the zipper if you wish. So I have little embellishments done right here, and I don't have enough of this to continue with it. But the most important thing is to show you how to make this beautiful cape that is relaxing right here. Okay, so you can see how it laps on the arm, and again when you turn to the front, it relaxes on your corset. So your corset can be draped, your corset can be plain, but the most important thing is to know how to sew this cape. Okay, so if this is what you want to learn in this class, please stay tuned till the end of this tutorial. Thank you. We're showing you how to sew this cape on a corset. As you can see right there on the thumbnail, we have a cape sewn to the corset, and I'll be showing you the easiest method of sewing this cape to your corset and you still have a perfect fit. So for this class, you need an already sewn corset like this. So we have a detailed video on how we made this beautiful corset crop top on this channel. Okay, so I'll be sharing the link on the description box below. So you need your corset with zipper or with lacing or whatever thing you want, this way. Okay, so it can be, this is a crop top, but you can be a half length, but this is the corset you need. Just click on the link to know how this is made. So after your corset has been made, next is to calculate the round shoulder measurement where this corset cape is going to be built. So if you are taking round your shoulder, just like you have in your, when making your off shoulder, if your round shoulder measurement is 42 for an example, so you have to take yours. It might be 40, it might be 42, it might be 44. So once you get your round shoulder, simply divide your round shoulder by 2. So if I divide 42 by 2, I'll have 21 inches. So for this class, I'll be working with a cape of 21 inches by length. The length of my cape is 21 inches. And the width of my cape will be measured, because we are sewing this cape on this corset from the center front. So here I have my normal 1 inch. So I'll just come over to my center front and measure. You can see where I'm taking my measurements. I'll measure up to this point. That is where the arm is going to be to pass. Okay, so I will sew it at 7 inches. So I'm going to cut my cape right now at 7 inches. So I'm only making one side of this cape But whatever thing I do on one side, please ensure you do that on this other side too. So width of my cape is 7 inches by width. So right now I'm going to cut my fabric for my cape. So note that our length of cape is 21, width of cape is 7, and of course you have seen how this measurement is taken. So I just come with my desired fabric. So here I'm working with a Mikado fabric right here, and the measurement I'm taking here is 21, but because I'll be sewing on both sides 0.5 0.5, I'll add my seam allowance as 22. Okay, so after that I'm going to measure my width of cape. So now I measure my 21 length and I add 1 inch for sewing the both sides of this cape into the front and into the back. So the width of my cape is 7. So this is my 7 inches. But because I'm going to fold this, place this on fold, I'll measure 7 times 2, that is 14. Because I'm also going to sew, add 1 inch to sew, so I'll measure 15. So my cape now with seam allowance is 15 inches by 22. So make sure you have your accurate measurement for this cape so it lays well. That is your accurate round shoulder measurement. That's the only way the cape can lay well. If it's not accurate, I've gone ahead to cut my fabric, but what I did was my calculation, which we got as 21, I added 2 inches to it, and that 1 inch for seam allowance, that is 22. So instead of measuring from here to here at 22, this is what I did. Okay, so the 22 inches, I added a few more inches to it. Okay, so this is where from this point to this point should be my actual calculation. Okay, but I added about 3 or 4 inches, okay, because I'm going to shape in this right now for the down part. So you'll be choosing which part will serve as your down. So once I fold it right now, the folded part, I want it to be at the down edge, or I'll just go ahead and sew it. So once you fold it now, you have your 7 inches plus ½ inch to stitch for seam allowance. So the length is supposed to be 22. This is where we have 22, but you need to add about 4 or 3 inches, 3 or 4 inches. So here I have almost 4 inches. So by the time I sew ½ inch, I have 3 inches extra, because we are going to shape in this before we sew. Okay, when sewing capes, the upper part and the lower part, if you want it to sit well, you need to shape it. So I will go and sew this way right now, then I'll bring it back to shape. So I've sewn it right now, so I'm going to turn it to the right side. So turning it to the right side right now, I'll have the center. I want the center to be of this cape to be in between. Okay, so this will serve as the front. I believe you understand. So I just place the seam allowance. You can go ahead and iron and place it at the center. So now it's time for us to shape in this cape. So I'm going to sew this part. This part will be the front, the part that will be on the corset part, while this part will be the center back. So it's time for me to shape in it, and that is why I added that extra allowance on the down part. So now if I'm sewing it to my corset, this is it. I'll sew this part to the corset, and I want this part to be the upper part, because I'll be sewing from here, from the center front. this part will be sewn from the center front of my corset, and why this will be sewn to the armhole part of my corset. So the armhole part of it will be the one on top. So I'm going to measure my 22 on top. This is my 22. So when I measure the down parts, you can see my extra 4 inches. Okay, so this is where I have my 22, but I added extra 4 inches because the upper part of the cape and the down part of the cape, many a times, especially for this part of the cape, does not really match well if it is kept straight this way. Okay, so the body will carry more of this than the shoulder carries. So I'll just slant my ruler this way to that 4 inches I added, and I'll have the shape of the cape at the back this way. So I'll go ahead and do what? And cut or slant these parts. Okay, so I've already sewn one part of my cape for this part, and this part now, you can see the part I told you we are going to continue sewing. So I'll just go ahead on my machine now. I'll continue to do what? To sew this to this. But remember, when sewing this, we are sewing it right on the fabric. Then we'll place the lining and turn for a perfect inseam finishing. So I'll go and sew in this, and I'll come back to show you how to sew this. So I've gone ahead to sew this. So I believe you saw how I kept this. I lay the right side on the right side. Okay, so it has to lay right side to right side. Please don't turn this part that is to serve as a back in the front. If not, you will not have a good result. So now you can see I've sewn, I've continued, on the corset line. So once you bring your lining, you will now lay your lining and finish it up. So I've already made this corset completely, but I just want to use this to show you how to sew this cape. So now next is to pick up the slanted edge. You can see the slanted edge. What I was explaining is the shoulder part is usually shorter than the down part of a cape for capes like this that are not built on the body's pattern. So if you want to get this cape relaxed accurately, you need to slant it, and you have to take your measurement, add your seam allowance, add 4 inches to it. So by the time you have slanted it, the measurement of your cape, remember the cape we had and on a square edge was 7 or 7.5, but now that I've slanted it, it becomes longer, up to 8.5. So you actually find it longer, and that will also, when you are sewing it now, is also going to be longer on the zipper part. So this is it when I sew it on the zipper part. So you can decide to sew this on your zip, and let us sew your zipper, turn with lining and sew your zipper. And if you don't want it to be sewn at the zip, you can also turn it, invert it this way. So I'm going to invert it this way, and I'll sew it very close from the zipper, from that to the end. You can see that. So I'll do that now, and I'll bring it back for you to see. All right, so now I've sewn that part, and you can see I have to turn it, to the back to sew. So you can see the length is longer, and it got almost to the waistline. So if you want to sew this for a perfect finish, you can sew it into the zipper line. Okay, so I'll prefer to sew it, then turn my zip on top of it. So that is how to go about this beautiful cape. So you have seen how it looks on the dress form, and it's actually looking very fine. So if you want to learn more on how to build capes, we have a perfect cape tutorial on Telegram. I'll be dropping the link on the description box below. So you can join us on Telegram to learn different kinds of capes with yoke, capes on the body, capes on the underbust, capes on the bust line, different kinds of capes, and drop shoulder capes as well. So thank you very much for coming to this class. And if you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you for coming, and see you in the next class. Bye.